Good morning and welcome to Newsline. My name is Cholapansa Narula. The program comes live to you every weekday on NBT World Radio Thailand FM 88 and also on NBT. It's Monday, February 16, 2015, and here are the news. In today's Thailand Moves Forward, the government is scheduled to hold a public forum to discuss the controversial petroleum concession auction. Deputy Government Spokesperson Major General Sansern Kaew said that the government has acknowledged public concerns over the planned opening of the 21st petroleum concession auction after a group of people submitted a petition asking for the plan to be reviewed. Major General Sansern said that there are two sides to the story on this issue. And while some say some may be accurate, some are not. He gave an assurance that the government has a genuine desire to help Thailand achieve energy stability and security through accurate information. Therefore, a public forum will be organized involving all parties, including the government and public interests, as well as investors, all of whom can present their cases. Major General Sansern said that all information will subsequently be presented to the government, the National Legislative Assembly, and the National Reform Council for their consideration after the event takes place on February 20th at the Government House. Thailand and Togo have signed 3 memorandum of understandings to promote academic and economic cooperation through bilateral mechanisms. The Thai Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Thanasak Patimakpakorn, held a bilateral discussion with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Togo, Robert Dusay, during his official visit to Thailand. Both sides intended to continue the expansion of bilateral trade for the benefits of both nations. The Thai counterpart expressed the readiness to export more rice to Togo in the future, as well as encouraging investment opportunity exchanges in the business sector. 3 memorandum of understandings or MOUs between Thailand and Togo were signed by the ministers, namely the MOU between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of both countries, the MOU on the academic cooperation, and MOU between the Thai Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Togo. The new MOUs were expected to enhance the national developments in both countries through cooperative bilateral mechanisms. Minister attached to the Prime Minister's office, Kun Suwapan Tanyuwatana, had a meeting with provincial authorities in Betong district of Yala to follow up the progress of various government policies in the province. Among the projects he visited was the development of transportation in Betong to facilitate border trade and tourism. He vowed that Route 410 in the province, which locals had called for its maintenance for years, would be one of the projects to be expedited. According to him, his other purposes of the visit were to speed up the distribution of financial subsidy to rubber farmers and expedite disbursement of investment budgets. He also participated in public activities with people in Betong and also Thanto districts. He remarked that he received useful information on the development of the province from both provincial offices and representatives of the Southern Border Province Administrative Centre, which he would forward to the government for consideration. The National Legislative Assembly is scheduled to hold another sitting later this week to follow up on the progress of the charter drafting. NLA President Pornphet Vichit Cholachai has just invited all members of the legislature to a meeting on February 19th and 20th at the Parliament. The upcoming sittings will be the 11th and 12th sessions the NLA has had since the beginning of this year. Before the meeting commences, the NLA will hear an update on the charter drafting from the Constitution Drafting Committee and on the progress of the work by the Cabinet. Then the legislature will review 7 draft laws, including the Organic Law on Anti-Corruption and the Law on the Protection of Children Conceived from Reproductive Technology. During the meeting, NLA member Wallop Tangkananurak will ask the Prime Minister about the government's employment policy for temporary employees as well. And the Constitution Drafting Committee is hoping to complete the review of the final part of the draft charter involving reconciliation by the end of this week. CDC member Phaiboon Nititawan said that the charter drafters have been looking at suggestions from all reform committees which are to be included in the new constitution, but the final conclusion has not been derived as yet. Mr. Phaiboon said that some committees are yet to submit all information and are expected to do so soon. When asked about the reconciliation in Part 4 of the draft charter, Mr. Phaiboon said that the issue is up to the subcommittee chaired by Anek Lau Thamatat to work on. However, he said that the deliberation of Part 4 of the new charter related to reform and reconciliation should likely be completed by the end of this week. The Ministry of Tourism and Sports will ask the Cabinet to approve Thailand's bid to host the 2016 World Tourism Day next year. Minister of Tourism and Sports Gopkan Wattanawarankul said the World Tourism Day had been scheduled for 27 September 2016. The United Nations World Tourism Organization chose Bangkok to host this grand event of the global tourism industry as requested by the organizers, said the minister. Ms. Gopkan added that Bangkok was chosen due to its convenient transportation. Ayutthaya would likely be one of the event venues for Thai cultural performances, said the minister. The 13th International Festival of Language and Culture 2015, or IFLC, was officially launched on Sunday at Mueang Thai Ratchadalai Theatre in Bangkok under the banner Bangkok City of Angels. The opening ceremony of the IFLC was presided over by Mom Luang Panatta Disakun, Minister and Permanent Secretary of the Prime Minister's Office. He said that it was an honor for Thailand to being chosen as the host since it showed this Asian nation was receiving high global recognition and Thai culture was a valuable asset to be maintained. The event is a good chance for Thai teachers and students to showcase their cultural and contemporary performances along with strengthening their educational and cultural ties with peers from different cultures. This year, the IFLC also marked the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Thailand and Turkey, a pioneer of the festival. The International Festival of Language and Culture was first held in Turkey with participation of children from 145 nations around the world. It is an annual festival which showcases the diversity of linguistic talents displayed in a variety of cultural performances. Last year, the IFLC was hosted by Germany, and next year it will be held in Manila. The Ministry of Public Health has instructed provincial public health offices in 9 provinces to closely monitor effects of smog caused by forest fires on health. Minister Dr. Ratchanawin said the 9 provinces were in the upper northern region, including Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, Lampang, Lamphun, Mae Hong Son, Phayao, Phrae, Nan and Tak. All hospitals in the provinces were told to prepare medical equipment and medicine for people affected by smog. The minister said that the hospitals would dispatch rapid response teams to the area with smog patients in order to assist them and reduce hazardous air pollutants. The local people are urged not to burn forests, grass, weeds or garbage in order to help decrease pollution in the air. 150,000 face masks have been handed out to people in the 9 provinces. The minister also warned that children, pregnant women, senior people and patients with respiratory and heart diseases should exercise extra caution during this period of time. They should keep abreast of air quality information and avoid inhaling smog. A face mask is highly recommended when dust pollution is over 120 micrograms per cubic meter. The Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives has asked fishermen to be informed of the strict measures against illegal fishing activities as they will affect the export of fisheries products. The Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Pitipong Phungbun Ayutthaya, said after presiding over the ceremony to shut down the Gulf of Thailand in Chumphon province that Thailand is still being monitored by the European Union for illegal fishing activities. Therefore, the country needs to make sure that illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing activities must not take place. Fishermen are requested to strictly abide by fishing regulations, said the minister, adding that negligence could result in negative consequences to the Thai export. To combat illegal fishing, the minister said that the Department of Fisheries is preparing to establish up to 26 port-in, port-out centres that cover the seashore areas of 22 provinces. These centres will check all fishing boats scaled from 30 gross tonnage or more. The centres will be initially set up in 2 provinces, namely Chumphon and Phuket. The centre will be established in March 2015. More than 150 divers and nature lovers gathered at Patong Bay in Phuket province to take part in Patong Coral Reef Restoration Project, which got underway there. The project is a cooperation between the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources and the private sector. Presiding over the opening ceremony was Patong Mayor Chalermlak Kepsap. Participants in the activity, consisting mainly of divers, were asked to rescue damaged coral by taking it to a nursery and by putting coral embryos into the sea. Other tasks included garbage collection under the sea and the repair of buoys. The campaign is expected to speed up recovery of the coral reefs in Patong Bay, which has been affected by pollution, and increase in number of the coral-eating starfish and the disaster of the 2004 tsunami. Chiang Mai province held a mulberry paper festival to boast its big-earning mulberry industry and promote its paper-making village into another must-visit destination. The province turned its Ton Pao village in San Kamphaeng district into a city of mulberry paper. To complement the event's theme, the organizers conjured up a mulberry paper parade. In addition to the stunning procession, visitors were able to enjoy a mulberry paper fashion show, cultural performances, and a beauty contest, and to shop for products made from mulberry. The fair was held until February 15th, which was yesterday. Ton Pao village is the production center of mulberry paper products of Chiang Mai province. The village's mulberry industry generates more than 100 million baht in income each year. It's likely that only a handful of people know where the ancient city of Vieng Kham Kham is located. Today, our reporter takes us to this rediscovered capital in the environs of Chiang Mai. Until recent years, it was all but forgotten. But now, this lost city is becoming an attraction under the supervision of Chiang Mai municipality. Kun Panot Si Sinsap went there to bring us this report.
Welcome to Vieng Kham Kham, an ancient city located in Sarapi district in Chiang Mai province, just 3 kilometers south of Chiang Mai city center. The city's name, Vieng Kham Kham. Vieng means city, Kham means protect, and Kham came from Kama, a Pali word for city. Despite being so close to downtown, not many know about it, and only about 100 tourists visit the site each day, mostly foreigners. According to the chronicles and archaeological evidence, the ancient city was built by King Meng Rai in the latter part of the 13th century, around 1286. The city was established as his capital by King Meng Rai after his victory over the Mons people's kingdom of Haripunchai, or modern Lamphun. Despite its imposing significance, the city was subjected to repeated flooding, leading to the building of a new capital, Chiang Mai, which was built to replace it a decade later. Vieng Kham Kham, however, flourished during the Meng Rai dynasty in the late 16th century. Eventually, the old city was essentially lost for many years, especially after Chiang Mai was conquered by the Burmese in 1558. It is thought that the area was flooded repeatedly at this time and was finally abandoned. However, people moved back to this area again more than 200 years later to create a new community, which they named Ban Chang Kham. In 1984, the Department of Fine Arts Unit 4 discovered remnants of the old city around Vihan Kan Thom at Wat Chang Kham, and afterwards excavation began. Since then, many more stone foundations have been found, and clearing of jungle cover has proceeded since that time to provide the feeling of stepping back in time. Now, the site has been turned into a historical destination, offering tourists an educational tour around the site, where they could choose between taking a horse ride or a tram, and they are equipped with a personal guide to educate them along the way. According to archaeologists in the area, the greater city is partly submerged, and if the whole village were to be dug up, it could be considered to be another UNESCO World Heritage Site. But it does have a high cost, and can cause problems for the nearby villages, as they would be expropriated from the area. The once vibrant Wiang Kum Kam is now an ancient attraction not far from the city area. We know from its name that Chiang Mai is the new city, and here we find the original capital of the Northern Kingdom, built to provide for and impress the people of the 13th century, and now rediscovered in our time. It's great to visit Wiang Kum Kam to learn more about the region's history and the magnificent culture, some of which may be still unseen in Chiang Mai. Panos Season-Sap, NBT World, Chiang Mai.
Thanks to Kun Panot for taking us to the ancient city of Wiang Kum Kam. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and the commodity prices. Don't go away, as Newsline will return with the global news.
A strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 10th core value: applying His Majesty the King's sufficiency economy, saving money for a time of need, being moderate with surplus for sharing or expansion of business.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline, and now let's have a look at the international news. Beginning in Indonesia, President Joko Widodo undertook his first official visit to the Philippines and signed agreements promoting migrants' rights and maritime cooperation. An honor guard ceremony welcomed President Widodo at the Presidential Palace before he attended an expanded bilateral meeting with Benigno Aquino, President of the Philippines. The officials signed a memorandum of agreements expanding bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Aquino said both countries also discussed maritime security and adherence to the rule of law in resolving territorial disputes.
Both sides agreed to coordinate more closely on a number of maritime issues. Having found success in delimiting our exclusive economic zones, we are more encouraged to further improve our approach to maritime boundary delimitation, border cooperation, and cooperation in combating illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, or IUUF, under the scope of the Philippines-Indonesia Joint Commission for Bilateral Cooperation, or JCBC.
The Philippines signed a landmark maritime agreement with Indonesia last May to peacefully settle a decades-old border dispute in the southern seas. Maritime disputes are common in Asia due to overlapping boundaries between neighboring countries. Recent tensions in the South China Sea have become Asia's biggest potential military flashpoint. Beijing's sovereignty claim over the huge area has set it against Vietnam and the Philippines as the three countries race to tap possibly huge oil reserves. Amateur video showed the immediate aftermath of the Copenhagen cafe shooting yesterday, in which one person was killed and 3 were injured. People had gathered at the cafe for an event entitled Art, Blasphemy and Freedom of Expression. The main speaker was Swedish artist Lars Vilks, who has received death threats for depicting the Prophet Muhammad. Vilks wasn't hurt in the attack. Also attending the event was French Ambassador François Zimmeret. At the event, Ambassador Zimmeret had praised Denmark's support for freedom of speech following the assault in Paris in January on the offices of satirical weekly newspaper Charlie Hebdo. Witnesses said the envoy had barely finished his introduction when up to 40 shots rang out outside the venue as an attacker sprayed the cafe's windows with bullets. The gunman then moved on to a nearby synagogue where the guard protecting a young girl's confirmation ceremony was gunned down. Danish police launched a massive manhunt, and yesterday morning they shot dead the 22-year-old Danish-born gunman near a train station in Nørrebro, an area in Copenhagen not far from the sites of the 2 attacks. Danish media widely reported the gunman to be Omar Abdel Hamid El Hussein. Moving on, a statement from the French presidency said France and Germany believe the ceasefire in Ukraine is generally being observed. But the country's leaders who helped broker the truce said some local incidents must be quickly resolved. Shelling has continued around the besieged town of Debaltseve. However, fighting in the area is reported to have lowered in intensity since the ceasefire began at midnight Saturday. Pro-Russian rebels had previously said they were entitled to fire in the town as they believe the territory belongs to them. Meanwhile, a military spokesman said Ukrainian troops had come under fire 60 times in the hours after the truce came into force. The spokesman said Debaltseve continued to be the scene of most clashes. The town, a key transport hub, has been the object of some of the fiercest fighting in the conflict zone in recent weeks, and the ongoing struggle there appears to pose the gravest threat to the truce. Hundreds of revelers yesterday poured into Ivrea to reenact the northern Italian city's historic Battle of the Oranges. The annual event sees large crowds dressed up in medieval costumes engage in a spectacular citrus clash, bombarding each other with juicy oranges from Sicily. Legend has it that back in the 12th century, the daughter of a local miller rejected the advances of the town's evil lord. She cut off his head and set Ivrea free from his tyranny. The battle recalls the insurrection against the tyrant, with participants split into noblemen and commoners, with the oranges representing the oppressor's head. In the 1930s, local girls started to throw oranges along with confetti and flowers from the balconies onto the carnival parade carriages so that the boys would notice them. From the carriages, the boys would throw items back. With time, the gesture became first a duel and then a real fight between the throwers on the balconies and those in the streets. The battle became the present contest following fixed rules only in recent history, after the Second World War. The game was transformed into a spectacular event representing the fight for liberty and the symbol of the Ivrea Carnival. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. If you do have any suggestions or comments, you know where to write them to us. The address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also check out our Facebook fan page, and our website is thainews.prd.go.th/newseng. Today, we say goodbye by taking you to the lovely Versailles Rose Garden, which is in Kanchanaburi province. So enjoy the roses. I'm Chalapan Sanarula. See you tomorrow. Swadee ka.